RG3 has just revealed his favorites for the Heisman Trophy, and Ohio State fans are going to love who he has at the top of the list, and we have to break it all down. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Columbus Football 365. Before we jump into the video for today, only 3.6% of viewers are subscribed to the channel, so please help me out a little bit. Hit that subscribe button if you're an Ohio State football fan. Let's get into the news for today. Of course, we all know Robert Griffin III, Heisman Trophy winner, college football legend, recently put up his top 5 Heisman favorites, all quarterbacks. Let's break down who they are, starting with Ohio State quarterback Julian Sayin and what Robert Griffin III had to say about Sayin. He said, I believe that what he has been doing at Ohio State is being overlooked because people are focusing on how many struggles Texas quarterback Arch Manning has had, to where they're not paying attention to just how efficient and how much winning football Julian Sayin is playing. Now, this is a very important term that RG3 used, which was winning football. A lot of people are looking at how the offensive coordinator Brian Hartline is using Julian Sayin, and they're saying they're playing too scared. They're not letting him rip. They're not just letting a top prospect be a top prospect and just play football. But I see it a completely different way. I see it how RG3 is seeing it, where he's playing winning football. You don't put out a guy starting his first ever game against a top defense like Texas and expect him to throw the ball all over the yard. You bring him on slowly. You call easy reads and plays that he can handle. Now, another point that RG3 brought up was the fact that Julian Sayin is completing a very high percentage of his passes. Now, if we bring up his stats on the season, 120 completions on 153 attempts, which is good for a FBS college football leading 78.4% completion percentage. Absolutely amazing. Yes, it is much easier to put up a fantastic completion percentage when you have Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate and even some more underrated pass catchers such as Max Clare and Brandon Innes catching all your passes. They're going to make it easy for you, but you still got to be smart with the football to have the nation's leading completion percentage. And Julian Sayin pairs that with almost 1,500 yards so far, 1,479 yards, averaging 9.7 yards per completion, 15 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and is so far leading the Ohio State Buckeyes to an undefeated record on the young season and the #1 ranking in the college football poll. Julian Sayin is playing absolutely sensational football right now, and a lot of people sometimes forget that this guy was the second recruit in the country behind Arch Manning. You know, everyone loves talking about Arch Manning for good reason. I love talking about Arch Manning too, but at some point we have to recognize who is playing the top football in FBS, and Julian Sayin is a name that is not being brought up enough. I know RG3's #2 guy on this list, Ty Simpson out of Alabama, is someone who is skyrocketing up Heisman odds, and he's playing great football too. I mean, I'm not here to diminish anybody on this list, but Julian Sayin is just playing it at a different level. And unlike Ty Simpson, Julian Sayin's team has not lost any games. Now, you may say, well, Ohio State, you can't even say that Ohio State didn't play someone really tough week 1 and that Alabama wasn't ready for Florida State, and Alabama is a different team now than when they played Florida State. Even though that's true, Ohio State also, similar to Alabama, came out week 1, played a top team in the #1 ranked Texas Longhorns. So what? They're not ranked #1 anymore. They're not even ranked in the top 10, falling all the way down this week's week 8 poll to the #22 ranking. They're ranked at all because of their defense, and that's the part of Texas that Julian Sayin is lining up against. #1 coming off the edge, that linebacker is going to be maybe the top edge rusher taken in the draft next year for Texas, or not for Texas, in the entire NFL draft. They got an absolute monstrous pass rusher over there. They also got Hill, the monstrous linebacker. Texas has tremendous defenders as well as All-American safety Michael Taffy on the back end. There are guys to worry about on that Texas defense, and even if that challenge wasn't as difficult as many people made it out to be and what the media made it out to be, everyone, don't let the fact that Arch Manning has not lived up to expectations let you think that that entire Texas team is a fluke of a team or their defense isn't very good. They have an elite defense, and Julian Sayin is someone who deserves a ton of credit. Also, another quarterback who's really high in a ton of quarterback rankings is the Duke quarterback. He transferred from Tulane to Duke this year, Darian Mensah, and Illinois' defense absolutely shut him down. But you know whose defense, you know what quarterback Illinois' defense was not able to shut down? That's right, you probably guessed it, Julian Sayin and the Ohio State offense. Every single week, they're letting Julian Sayin throw the ball a little bit more, be more of a guy that is creating his own plays instead of just playing within the confines of the offense. Guys, take it from me, I'm a New York Jet fan. I know that no matter how talented your quarterback is, if your scheme is too much for them too early, you're going to ruin that quarterback. And Julian Sayin is human, just like all the other quarterbacks that one of my favorite teams is drafted highly. He is ruinable, and the fact that Ohio State is bringing him along slowly is only going to benefit every Ohio State fan in the long run. This team is still undefeated. Julian Sayin is learning just in a way that I keep saying is better than Ohio State fans could have reasonably asked for. And I am very, very excited to see what he could be the remainder of this season. And oh my goodness, what is Ohio State going to look like next year with a junior Jeremiah Smith at his peak of college football playing and a junior redshirt sophomore Julian Sayin? That offense could be absolutely fantastic. Along with the team up north, they got the #1 recruit at quarterback this season. Him getting more development, I think that the game 2026 is going to be absolutely amazing. Not that it's ever not amazing any other year, but could be something extremely special next year. But Ohio State should not be making that game close. We're going to absolutely run them out of the town. But just reading off the rest of RG3's list, his #3 Heisman favorite right now, Trinidad Chambliss, quarterback for Ole Miss, undefeated in the SEC right now. The SEC, or no longer, still the SEC's #1 ranked team. Had to think about it. No, Texas A&M's above Ole Miss, but Ole Miss, #5 ranked in the country. Absolutely amazing. Trinidad Chambliss started the year as the backup for the Ole Miss Rebels and then stepped up in a fantastic way. Upset LSU earlier in the season, playing tremendous football. Fernando Mendoza coming in at RG3's #4 Heisman favorite. My personally #1 overall pick in the NFL draft. Like I said, I'm a Jet fan. We need a quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. I love the fact that he is not afraid to take the right play instead of go hunting for the big play. Like you watch last year Cam Ward and this year Garrett Nussmeier, and also last year Garrett Nussmeier. These are quarterbacks that they're always looking for the big play, the flashiest thing. They're always throwing the ball deep. They're putting it in harm's way, and they're passing up easy completions that can be turned into run after catches for big plays under it. And that is not what Fernando Mendoza does. He stands tall in the pocket, 6'5" with a pretty good arm, stands tall in the pocket, delivers passes, and lets his offense play around him. Similar to Julian Sayin, doesn't try to do too much. He understands that the talent around him is high, and these guys are going to make plays if you put them in good positions. And just like Julian Sayin, he has trust in the coaching staff to put him in a good situation, to call good plays, get his offensive players to give them advantages over the defensive play calling, something that my New York Jets have not been able to find out for the better part of the last decade. Rounding out RG3's Heisman contenders, Sawyer Robertson, the quarterback out of Baylor. No one is really talking up this guy like RG3 is, but RG3 is a broadcaster for Fox, calls a lot of Big 12 games. One of the games he called was Sawyer Robertson hanging a ton of points on Auburn's defense, and I believe it was week 2 or maybe even week 1 of the college football season. He watched the game in person, got a really good look at Sawyer Robertson, loved what he saw. But #1, don't forget it, Julian Sayin. He's not there DraftKings wise, but the way that he has been developing, I have zero doubts that Julian Sayin is not going to finish in that Heisman Trophy ceremony. He's going to be in New York. He may not hear his name called as #1, but he's definitely someone that people need to give more attention to in terms of Heisman voting. Julian Sayin ranked last week as CBS Sports #2 quarterback in the country, falling down their rankings a little bit this year. I really can't imagine why. To me, he's been getting better and better and better every single game, and I absolutely love what I'm seeing from Julian Sayin. I think Ohio State fans should be jumping up and down in excitement from what is going on with this team this year. There is no hangover from winning the national championship last year, and this team is poised to go win another national championship. Julian Sayin, let's see what you got for the rest of the year. RG3, a college football legend. The guy knows what he's talking about. If he is saying you're the #1 front runner for the Heisman Trophy, that's got to mean something. But that's what I got for this video. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and go Buckeyes.